Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. This is the second gathering of the Baltimore County delegation. Today, we have on our agenda having the president of the esteemed Community College of Baltimore County with us today, Sandra Kurtenitis, to give us some updates and answer some questions. And we have our business is only to take up one bill for hearing, and there it even has some special circumstances. So, without further ado, I would like to reintroduce, because we've all met her before. She has a good long tenure here in Baltimore County, which I think that kind of consistency is incredibly important, especially given the good work that she does. Dr. Sandra Kurtenitis of Community College of Baltimore County. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me. And yes, you're right. This is my 20th year as the president of the Community College of Baltimore County. So thanks so much for giving me a few minutes to kind of share our story, share some good news. I know you are very busy people and you have an extraordinarily challenging job to figure out a way to close a gap of nearly $3 billion dollars. But before I say anything else, I do want to say again, and I hope I've said this enough times and you've heard it, and that is how grateful we were for your support, for the delegation support last year for this budget year. And the fact that we were supposed to be cut by about $5 million was very worrisome. You cut that in half, and we continue to be grateful as we go through this year. But then I will tell you, we were fully prepared to have to weather another big cut this year. But when the governor shared his budget and he essentially level funded us, I mean, that was a joyous surprise. And we are hoping desperately that that can be sustained through the budget discussions throughout this year. You know, I think there is no other sector that can do what we can do, and we are proud and happy to do it. All for the economic well-being of the counties, the county and the region and the state that we serve. So I would like to share a few slides with you, and I'm going to have one of my helpers make sure I get it on the screen correctly. But I would prelude this by saying, I know that you know we are an economic powerhouse in this region and that our work translates into jobs, jobs, jobs. So if one of my helpers would just show me what to do, click. This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Click share.
And share.
Yeah, this is a big scene.
And we are seeing it.
You are seeing it. Thanks so much. All right. Well, let me just walk through a few slides with you, and I won't take a lot of your time, but I do want to start by just telling you again that, you know, we govern ourselves by 3-year strategic plans. We're in year 2 of a plan that is really called Momentum in Motion, and we are actually, having come out of the pandemic with vision and strength, we are actually now doing a total reframing of our world here. We're investing in our future, thanks to all of you for helping us do that. And we are leading with equity. And I want to be clear that for us, that means every one of us counts, every single student, man, woman, young, old, black, white. We are very much committed to making sure every student is successful, and we are committed also to becoming a 21st century college for 21st century students for 21st century jobs. And those aren't just bywords that we share.
Awesome.
Rather.
So I'll give him your.
So what I also, before I kind of give you a few other indications of kind of where we are and what we're doing with your support, I do want to show we have just completed another economic impact study. And of course, these are sort of the macro contributions that our college makes to our region. But what I also want to say is last year we had 51,000 students and 3,500 employees. So we do make a big economic impact in multiple ways. But the other takeaway here is that out of those 51,000 students, 13,000 of them completed something important to them: a degree, a certificate, a workplace certification, transfer to a four-year institution. And that is all part of what we perceive to be our role as an economic powerhouse in this region. It translates ultimately into a workforce in our region, and we're the, I often say, I quote T.S. Eliot, we're the practical cats of higher education. Jobs, jobs, jobs. That's what we're all about. And everything we do is workforce development. And we've been doing it since 1957. So that means hundreds of thousands of accountants and nurses and dancers and poets and welders and HVAC technicians and so forth. So let me just sort of bring you up to date on who make up that 51,000 population. And this, I think, is a distinctive marker for all the work we do here, that we know that 83% of all of our students live in vulnerable and economically underserved communities. And so that translates into a student body that looks very much like this. Notice more than half of our students now are in our short continuing education programs, average age 37, more women than men. And this, I think, is an important number for us all to be aware of. With an age bracket that we serve, 90% of these students will attend part-time. And although 73% of them need some kind of college-ready work, doesn't mean they're stupid. It just means they've been out of high school for such a long time that it's hard to remember what a gerund is or how you find the square root of something or other. So all of these numbers tell you about this broad and diverse population that we serve at the Community College of Baltimore County. And when I think about this population, and then I show you this slide, I have to tell you how grateful we are for the support that you have given to the Maryland Promise. With an economically challenged community, this translates now with the Maryland Promise, the Baltimore County Promise, and then, of course, all the others, the Pels, the scholarships, and so forth. I hope that you are as proud as we are that 98.3% of every Baltimore County resident who attends CCBC has done so tuition-free. This is a powerful acknowledgement of your support for your community college, and we are very grateful to finally be in control of those funds. We had just under $2.8 million this year to give away in Maryland Promise scholarships. And I'll tell you what, we are putting every dollar to good use. I also want you to be aware that it isn't just because a bridge fell in Baltimore County that CCBC is expanding its trades. We are very aware that, I mean, we've had these programs for a long time, and we are investing a good bit of our strategic initiative fund to expand them. Our Dundalk campus, which has long been more or less our trades campus, will now, as of we think by next fall, will now have a welding program. We're in the process of putting together a plan to expand a welding program. We've done welding for a long time, but not to the degree that we will now do. We know that in rebuilding the bridge, we're going to need welders, and we certainly don't want to have them imported from Massachusetts or California when we can educate them right here. And then just to bring you up to date on some of the good news of some of these programs, you know, we now have, thanks to not only the blueprint, but to some ability that we have to support high school student enrollment. This year, we have just about 4,000 high school students taking college classes. And I think I've already shared with you that every year now we have 25 or 30 high school students who finish both a diploma and an associate's degree at the same time. Online enrollment has blossomed with about 40,000 students enrolled right now. Many of these are our local students, yes, but we are also developing a footprint that goes out really across the nation. And in my mind, this is the way we garner additional support for Baltimore County students. And I hope you are proud of the fact that CCBC now has an honors college, and we are 2 years into that with a student honors student ratio right now of about 150 students. And the last image there, the Degrees to Succeed, we started this program about a year and a half ago, have about 1,000 students, just under 1,000, who are actually transferring into our four-year partner colleges with no loss of credit. And this is a real achievement to have now in place. So I know I showed this to you in December, and I want to just show you again to just thank you again for recognizing how important it is to help the community colleges gain ground in this fiscal sphere in the state of Maryland. And all in all, I would say we're asking for a rather simple agenda this year. One is to support the governor's budget for community colleges. We are so relieved that we hope that you will support us in that. And if there is any ask that we have in relation to the operating budget, it would be to please consider reinstating the hold harmless clause. It hasn't affected us, but I know some of our smaller colleges are going to be hurting, and that is because their enrollment has taken them below the traditional hold harmless. So we'd like you to support that. We do have a small $6 million capital project budget in the works, and we would love to see that supported. And also to support the governor's recommendation to fully fund the Maryland College Promise Scholarship at $15 million. And I will just remind us all again that the reason the Maryland College Promise Fund has never yet been fully spent down is because we did not control those funds. They had to go through MHEC, and it was a very clunky and very exasperating promise. In any given year, I think the most we were able to give was maybe $250,000, when this year I know we are going to spend every penny of the $2.8 million that has come to us. All of this is about investing in our students. So with that, I will stop and happily answer any questions or anything else you would like me to do.
Thank you very much. Right off the top, several things that I noted. First of all, I got to appreciate your broader concern for your partner institutions or community colleges around the state when you talk about the funding. I think that shows your large concern for the process in general, and that shows great perspective. Another great place where you show great perspective is in sort of thanking us for only taking $2.5 million away from you last year, and seeing the glasses half full rather than half empty. And I appreciate that. These are difficult times, and you are working through them. I'm pleased the governor values you, and his budget is showing that value. And that also involves not everything you would want, as you slipped in at the end there, which is we always get the CADE pom-poms at the end. We really appreciate that, though. Can you just unpack something for me? You said, and I want to make sure I have this right because I want to clarify, over 98% tuition free for Baltimore County. Does that mean that of all the students who attend the community college from Baltimore County, 98% of them are attending tuition free, or?
Yes, last year, these are the numbers from last year. That's how effective the tuition free initiative at CBC has.
It's not that 98% of the tuition free students are from Baltimore County. It's the other way around. Okay, great.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
I think that is exemplary, and thank you very much I want to make sure I had that stat right. I was hoping that was the way that answer would run. It would have been good either way, but that's a great answer, and I appreciate that.
And if I could just say, for me, that is a career achievement thanks to much help from all of you. This is the opening up the doors for us to be able to award the Maryland Promise after all these years feels like manna from heaven.
Okay. We've seen you plenty of times and we've asked you questions. I don't see any hands up right now. You're thorough and persistent, I would say, by coming to talk to us more often. I think it raises fewer questions. I think your openness is appreciated. I don't see any hands up from the members of the delegation. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask Dr. Kurtenitis? You've got us in the palm of your hand there. Nicely
Okay,
done.
well, just as happy.
I
Thank you very
appreciate-
much for giving me this chance.
we know you're busy as well, and we appreciate you clearing the time to come and share with us a little bit. I know that should something pop up in somebody's mind, you're easy to get a hold of and talk to
Yep,
about this.
That's right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
With that, we'll move on to our business, and we have only one item of business, and as a bill hearing, House Bill 0173, Deer Management Program Establishment. This is Delegate Naraki's bill. I think we have some interesting news about this bill, so I'm going to give Delegate Naraki the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to keep the morning moving quickly as well, everyone. First of all, Mr. Chair, thank you for your grace for giving me one more week to kind of continue some discussions with Baltimore County on this important issue. I'm actually going to withdraw the bill. I've been working in partnership with the administration. They have agreed to implement a deer management plan that's frankly probably even more extensive than what even my bill would have proposed. With coordination with the Maryland Department of Agriculture. I want to thank Amanda Carr, County Executive Klausmeyer, and everyone from the county executives team. It's always great when we can work in partnership and get things done like that to solve, real problems for the citizens of Baltimore County.
Thanks. Okay, with that, then there was no necessity for a hearing on this bill as Delegate Naraki plans to withdraw the bill. I would also echo that Amanda and Kayenda, we appreciate the involvement of your office, and this falls under the category of sometimes you don't need legislation if just pointing it out makes even better things happen, and we appreciate Baltimore County government for being involved with that. The only other item of business, I've had a delegate, Delegate Allen has approached me, and he has, as we sometimes do, a letter that he would like to let you know that he is putting before you if you want to sign. We don't actually take letters and sign them as a delegation, but if members have a letter that they think is relevant to Baltimore County, want to make people aware of it, just for your information, he has shared the letter with me, and it is all, we place it in the Google Doc, so if you want to see it more clearly, or you can ask him for it. But I'm going to give Delegate Allen the floor briefly just to talk about what he is advocating for.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, I think a lot of us are familiar with HB 107 from a few years back, sponsored by Delegate Marvin Holmes. It was the reserve study requirement for common ownership communities, housing co-ops, condo communities, etc. Last year, Delegate Holmes introduced a bill. I can't remember the number of it, the number from last year, but it passed the House with very little trouble and stalled in the Senate. He reintroduced it this year, and the main point of this bill is to kind of amend some of those requirements for the reserve study, specifically to give these communities more time to meet these requirements and to have the funds in their reserve accounts. They're changing the requirement from 3 years to 5 years. That way, they can kind of spread the fundraising portion of it around a little bit more too. So, a lot of our communities, I know in District 8, specifically in the Rosedale area, we've heard a lot from our communities about the burden that this is placing on them financially, how much fees have to go up in order to cover these requirements. So, adjusting the time frame, by which a community is required to have these funds, I think would go a long way to easing some of that burden. It doesn't ease it completely, but it's a step in the right direction. So I wrote a very, very short, very simple letter from members of the delegation, not from the delegation itself, because it's not a delegation bill. But we have support, from the Baltimore County Council, especially on the east side. No, Councilman Marks has been kind of at the forefront of this, along with me and my colleagues in District 8, because there's a lot of overlap there. And I invite everybody to please take a look at the letter at your earliest convenience and let me know The hearing for the bill is actually today in E&T. So we won't make it in time to submit it with testimony, but I sit on that subcommittee as well. So I intend to bring the letter to everybody that is willing to listen. And please consider if you have any communities in your district that have expressed these concerns to you, please consider signing on to the letter. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And thank you for bringing it before us. It is an issue that some groups and we in Baltimore County are concerned about. So as I said, we posted the letter up on the Zoom that has the agenda and everything else just there to look at. Delegate, do you have any sort of deadline by which you'd like people to let you know if they want to sign on or not?
Can we say Monday afternoon, maybe?
That'd be fine.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah, please just email me or my office. Let me know. Justin and I can make sure we get signatures. If you want to send us a digital signature, we can throw it on there. Or if you want a hand sign, we can bring it around. Just let us know.
Thank you very much. And actually, finally, I see a hand raised. Delegate Pastor, you have a question.
I do not about this, however, and I'm sorry just for having delayed this question, but this is going back to Delegate Naraki. I know that he liked this bill. So since Ms. Carr and okay, I'm gonna have to call you Amanda so I can call Kayende by her first name. All right, so
we're gonna learn that name.
I'm working on that, but I've got the first name right. So I would just like to briefly hear what it is that you're bringing to the table in terms of Delegate Naraki's bill, please.
So either Amanda, you can comment on that, or Delegate Naraki, you guys can defer to each other. What I know that when Delegate Naraki talked to me yesterday, said there's a solution. Amanda, if you think you can explain it more clearly, we'll start with you, and Brian can jump in if he wants to.
Good morning, Mr.
Good
Chair.
morning, and thank you for being here as ever. Okay, you and Kayenda both. Nice to see you both.
Thank you for having us. I'll give you a quick tip on Kayenda's last name. She helped me pronounce it. If you think of it, twas a G, but it's kind of soft. Twas a G. So there you go.
Twas a G. Twas a G.
Twas a G.
Twas a G.
Okay.
We are not going to do this online next week. We are going to compare notes offline with each other.
I've got it.
Okay. No, we're not going to discuss this in a public forum ever again. We're done. There you go.
Delegate Pasteur, thank you for your question. Yes, so we worked with our Department of Rec and Parks, and when this bill came up, I discussed this with Director Smith, and then he referred me to the state and spoke with Secretary Addix from the Department of Agriculture, who works with the federal U.S. Department of Agriculture, who manages Maryland's deer population management program. So there is actually currently deer management going on in Baltimore County once a year. And when I spoke with Secretary Addix, he explained that he would be happy to help us with a local deer management population program. So we have something on the books. We have an MOU with the federal and the state government, but creating a county plan, a local plan, would help them manage their own. They track deer herds throughout the state and determine when some management needs to take place. So we're going to meet with Secretary Addix and discuss what we have on the books and how we can expand that. And we're going to include Delegate Naraki, of course, so that he can solve his East Side issues. We're currently only in Oregon Ridge and Cromwell Valley Park is where any herd management has taken place.
I appreciate that answer because where I live has that issue. So I really was interested in Delegate Naraki's bill because they're only cute in the movies. Not on my porch.
I think there's a wild difference in opinion on this subject. So I'm trying to be gentle to all and watch how I address this issue.
That's right. I love them. They're sweet. But not
In fact, I see another hand up, and
thank you.
It will be most interesting to hear Delegate Ruth's take on this matter.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Delegate Naraki, for bringing this bill. And I did support the bill as well. This is an important issue that I've also been working on for a while. And I do think that deer are cute, but I also have learned how much damage they cause, both to homeowners and agriculture. It's really huge. And so, Amanda, thank you for being such a great partner and working on this. I did just want to clarify one thing. You mentioned you're talking to Secretary Addix and the Department of Agriculture. Is DNR also looped into this because they have a role to play in deer
Yes.
management as well?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and I see Delegate Pastor's hand up. I think we just didn't lower it. So Delegate Naraki.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just to, I should have said, yeah, there is already some deer management occurring in Baltimore County, not to not give credit to DNR and, some of the management that's already occurring in Baltimore County, but this would just be a more comprehensive approach and hopefully gets everybody that's already doing some of these activities kind of talking on the same page about it. And so that we're not just focused in certain areas, but hopefully in a more comprehensive way. And so thank you to the county executive. Her family gets it. They have a farm and they understand these issues. There's lots of crop loss in Baltimore County. And thank you to Delegate Ruth, because Delegate Ruth has really been at the forefront of this issue. Well, I've been bouncing these ideas off of Delegate Ruth for a year now or so. So thank you also, Delegate Ruth, for that as well.
Thank you, Delegate Naraki. And I think, I'm proud of this delegation. I just have to say the way we get to things. And I love our relationship with county government on things of this nature as well. So these are easy days. There it is. Delegate Pastor's hands down. Anybody else? Anything else for the good of the order from folks? All right, then. It got out before 9:30 today. Well, we have some bills coming up, so try to clear your schedules next week from 9 to 11. Talk to you soon. We're adjourned. Yeah, she just apologized. There she is.